this is Anthony from AC Guitar Tuition, and in this video we're going to look at playing legato. So what is legato? Well, in classical terms it literally translates to tied together. So when you see the notes written down on the manuscript paper, all be dotted across like that, you'll see an arcing line joining all the notes together. That means that that passage is meant to be played legato or tied together. So rather than articulating each note with your plectrum, you want a nice smooth sound. And the way that we do that on guitar is we use two techniques known as hammer-ons and pull-offs. And if you're unfamiliar with either of those, then I'll come close to the camera now and we'll have a look at it. Okay, so we're in the first position, first finger on the first fret of your first string, and throughout the entire exercises that we're going to look at today, that's where it's going to stay. It's going to stay anchored down, so just keep that in mind. And then our second note, when we're looking at this hammer-on, is going to be on the second fret. But rather than plucking both strings, this second note is going to be created by hammering down your second finger on that second fret. So if you play that first fret, then hammer the second finger down. So I'm bringing this finger right back and I'm literally slamming it down on that second fret. I'm not just placing it on. Yeah, you do get a sound, but it just doesn't cut it. It's not a full, nice sound. You really want to bring this finger back and slam it down. And for pull-offs, again with our first finger anchored down and our second finger already fretting that second fret, we want to pull the string down, so we're getting the sound of the first fret. And you'll notice that I'm not just removing that finger. You will get a sound if your fingers are sweaty enough and sticky and sticking to the strings, but you really need to rip that string down. It's actually taking on the role of a plectrum. So as you can see, when you're using your plectrum, you're plucking the string. That's effectively what you're doing with your second finger. In this instance, you're taking on the role of a plectrum. So two things to remember: when you're hammering on, you really need to bring this finger back, and when you're pulling off, you really need to rip that string down, get a nice sound. So to develop this idea further, come up with a little exercise, and we're in the first position again, just like we were. Our first finger's anchored down on the first fret of our first string, and then we're playing the notes that we just played. So it's frets 1, 2, 1, but you're only picking the first note. And you want to do that 4 times. 2, 3, 4. The next part of this exercise, we're going to go from frets 1 to 3 with fingers 1 and 3. So, using exactly the same technique, really hammering that note on and really ripping that string down for the pull off. And then I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this, going from frets 1 to 4 with fingers 1 and 4, your rock fingers. 2, 3, 4. And then the idea is to play all of that nice and smoothly without any gaps. So I'll just play it now a little bit quicker so you can get an idea of the sound that I'm after. reached this point, you can go back to fingers 1 and 3 and then start the entire exercise again. So when I'm playing this exercise, you'll probably notice that even though I don't need my picking hand, it's still quite close to the strings, and the reason for this is that I'm actually muting the other strings that I'm not playing, because if I were to play legato and not mute the strings, I'd get a really unpleasant sound from all the other strings vibrating. So I'll just illustrate that. Yeah, so because I'm using so much force, especially with the hammer-ons, it's creating a vibration throughout the neck, which in turn is making all the other strings noisy. It's making them vibrate, so it's making them make a noise. So all that I'm doing is I'm using the side of pretty much all of my thumb on the strings just here. And what that's doing is making sure that all these strings are completely muted. So all you need to remember for legato playing is with your hammer-ons, really hammer that note on. For your pull-offs, make sure that you really pull the note off. Sounds really simple, but you get what I mean, I hope. And mute your strings with your right hand, or else it'll just sound like a mess. So thanks for watching, and have fun with that one. I'll see you in the next video.